Hi and welcome. This is John McGowan with the Indoor Cycle Instructor Podcast, and I'm also the technical advisor to Group Fitness Talk Radio. Now, Amy and I thought it would be helpful to have a short video available that really just explains the whole process of subscribing. And in this instance, it's going to be subscribing to our either of our podcasts or internet radio shows through iTunes. Now, you probably realize by now that with every episode that we publish, there's a blog post, kind of like right here. And down at the bottom, there's a player that you can click that you can play and listen to right here on the computer. But I think you'll find it helpful to subscribe through iTunes because it really simplifies the whole process, and you never have to come back and check if there's something new. Everything will be automatic, and I'll show you exactly how you do that. At the bottom of each post there is a link here to subscribing for free, and it's important to recognize that podcasts are completely free. There's no obligation. You just click that link, and if iTunes is open on your computer, it will kind of force it to open, and if it doesn't, it will just either way I should say, it automatically takes you to the page for that particular podcast or internet radio show. In this instance, Group Fitness Talk Radio's popped up. What you can see down here are the 3 available episodes. Now you can choose to just click one of these Get Episode buttons here if you want to just download an individual podcast, but that's not really subscribing. That's just downloading a particular episode. What we want to do is subscribe, and then what that does is that automates the whole process. So when as a new episode becomes available, iTunes will automatically download it, and then I'll show you how we automate it going directly to your iPod. But before I show you how to subscribe, I'm going to show you here how you can post a review about the podcast and let us know all about it, what you think of it. It's also very helpful for us to have reviews. It helps our listing in iTunes. Plus, it will help someone else who finds this page in iTunes and gives them a better understanding of, is this something that they want to take part in. So, subscribing is as simple as click the subscribe button. It comes up and it will ask me, am I sure I want to do this? And in this case, yes. And what will happen is iTunes will download the latest episode of this particular podcast. So in this instance, it's bringing up episode number 3. If you go up here to your podcast section, you'll see that this is working. Now I'm going to wait just a moment and come back once it's fully downloaded, and I'll take you through the next step. Alright, I'm back, and you can see here that Group Fitness Talk Radio now has its first podcast in it. Now, a couple things that we want to do as far as get some settings so that everything becomes automatic. But first I should add is that, again, I said the latest episode gets downloaded. You can choose to selectively download the other podcasts, or you could just click the Get All, and then that will update you as to what's available currently. Now down here below there's a settings that you can click, and what this will do is whenever iTunes is open, what's going to happen? And you can set this to check every hour, every day, every week, typically every day. You'll find that most of our podcasts come out on a weekly schedule. Then you can click there's a setting page as far as just all your podcasts, and when a new episode is available, it's going to ask if you should do anything, or what you want to have is download the most recent one. And then one thing that once you listen to a lot of podcasts, you may find it helpful to only keep the unplayed episodes, or maybe if you want to reference back to them, I guess that's your preference. But once you're done there, you just click the OK button. Now you've got the podcast on your computer. Let's get it to your iPod. And it's as simple a matter as click and drag over to there, and you can see here where we're updating Amy's iPod. And then you can just click the little triangle, and all of a sudden now you have a podcast section in here. You might not have had that before. And when you click on that, it shows that you have, and again, this will only be the podcast that you've previously downloaded to your computer. Now, if you double click on the device, like that. Takes you to kind of the settings area for your iPod. You can go here to the podcast section, and what you want to do is make sure that this is synced. This gives you a bunch of more options, but the preference typically is just all, and then all podcasts. So now what will happen is whenever we publish a new podcast or internet radio show episode, your computer, when iTunes is open, will automatically download them. Then when you plug your iPod in, or iPhone for that matter, or your iPod Touch, and if you've got it set like I've shown you here, then those episodes will automatically be transferred to your iPod, simplifying the whole process. Prevents you from having to go back, hey, is there anything new? We will be sending out notices. It's important that if you're a listener to either of our podcasts, that you do subscribe as kind of one of our membership. And the idea there is that we can notify you both when something new has happened, and we will be sending out an email weekly, just kind of telling you what was new the previous week. But also there are many opportunities we have to ask our listeners to submit questions for our upcoming guests, which I found has been very well received by the listeners of the Indoor Cycle Instructor podcast. So you'll want to go to either site. You'll find very prominently an area where you can subscribe, and then you'll be part of our community. Now, if you have any questions or comments, you can email me, john@indoorcycleinstructor.com. And until next time, thanks for listening.